Live from Los Angeles, here's Everyway Woman.
We have an exciting and jam-packed show for you today, so we're going to jump into one of my favorite segments. It may get heated, but it's never repeated. Open dialogue. So, you know, ladies, the other day at work, we were talking about just some of the things that are going on. And something that's really at the forefront are powerful men and their indiscretions. We have Congressman Weiner, we have Arnold Schwarzenegger, and then John Edwards. So I guess I want to get your input as to what is going on with these powerful men and their indiscretions, Natasha.
Well, it's not just powerful men, because broke men do the same thing too. It's just we don't care about them doing it, but they do the same thing. And it's like, as far as with Anthony Weiner, I just want to know, when is it ever a good idea for a man to send a picture of his little member?
Well,
it never works out. Women, we do not want to see that.
Well, interesting enough, though, I think that he's getting so much attention because he lied about it. He started off by saying, oh, you know, I don't know, that could have been me. Now, you know, if you took a picture of your situation, if it's you don't have to pretend, right?
And he's a grown man. I just wonder, why is he taking pictures of it, first of all?
Well,
no one should have pictures of it. Unless it's for your job, you should not have pictures of it.
Well, apparently it was sent to his porn mistress, who's 21 years old. And apparently his wife is now pregnant, I think 10 months or something. But a lot of the media are speculating that she's not actually pregnant. It's just a sympathy call.
To kind of diminish what's going on with him.
Exactly.
Well, listen, when we were talking yesterday with my coworkers, we're talking about, do the wives know? And I made the argument that I absolutely believe that Maria and Congressman Weiner's wife and Elizabeth Edwards knew about it.
Right.
One of my colleagues said no, women don't possibly know. Sunita, what do you think?
I think they may not know. And the fact is, it's not even the issue of if they sent the picture, if they didn't send the picture. You know, these men are doing crazy things, you know, in their bedrooms, in their personal homes. If it just stayed there, I wouldn't really care. But the fact is, Anthony Weiner, he went on a PR trip to, you know, say, no, I did not do that. I don't know, if, you know, what that picture is of. I think you knew. And the fact that you do that, now I question, if you can do your job, what are you lying about so straight-faced in your job? Now that's where it counts.
Okay, let's get back to that. Christina,
I was going to totally agree with Sunita. What I wanted to say is I think these men in higher power are just privileged. They have this elite factor where they think, oh, it's okay, I can have 20 mistresses, I can send my, you know, pictures of my little member, you know, and do all this kind of stuff because I'm Anthony Weiner, I'm Schwarzenegger, I can do what I want.
Interesting, I was watching a movie with Nixon was in, and Nixon said that power is the ultimate aphrodisiac. So if you could take that into the constant contents of what we're speaking about. But I guess I want to go back to one piece. Why does it seem that what you have at home is just not enough? Natasha made a good point, broke or not, men are still doing it.
I think it's just because he could get away with it. That's like any man or any woman for that matter.
Sorry they got caught.
They think they can get away with it. And you do as much as you can get away with until you get caught. Then once you get caught, you're all sad.
Okay, but we're a show that's geared towards women. Are we not fulfilling our men at home?
No,
I don't think that has
personal.
anything to do with it.
That's you personally. If you're the type of person that is going to send pictures of yourself out, if you're the type of person that's going to cheat, that's a character flaw you have. Doesn't have anything to do with what's going on at home. You're supposed to work on that.
Okay, so you think that in all these situations they were completely fulfilled at home and that the wife I'm just asking, that the wife has
Well, how
no
could that
contribute to
fulfill
it?
you to be on Twitter? That's not fulfilling.
Okay.
Well, to some men that is. To some men,
Right.
I mean, I totally agree. I think that's a character issue. I think it's a character flaw, but you never know what these women are doing. Maybe they have so much money, they're just going out to Bloomingdale's and wherever and shopping and not even paying attention that they're, you know, not giving their man what he needs.
You know, I mean, looking at the situation of Maria Shriver, I mean, I think that one really upset me because they were a strong couple. You know, they look like a great family. And I just can't believe that Maria Shriver was not, you know, taking care of things at home in all ways. And so, you know, that is just something about ego. And, you know, the thing that I wonder about these guys, obviously it's the ego that gets them to those power positions.
True.
So it's that balance of they need that power to get to those positions, but then how do they balance it?
Okay, so let's move on to if it's not right at home, you might not have a home, therefore you'll be broke. So we'll go to the economy. And I had to use that because if it's not right at home, you might be broke. Some people say we're in a recession. Some people say we're not in a recession. Some people say unemployment is up. Some people say unemployment is down. Where are we? bad, good, I think that we're at the beginning of the bottom of the pits. That's my opinion as relates to the economy.
Well, the
Natasha.
problem too with the jobs, they're saying yes, there are jobs out there,
Right.
but they're not jobs that pay as well as all the jobs that have left. So it's like, yes, I may have a job, but I'm underemployed and I'm not making the same amount of money.
Right.
So my money that I would have had before is not going into the economy. I can't go to Ralph's. Now I got to go grocery shopping at the 99-cent store.
Right, and also on that note, I just want to interject. Also, when you go to Ralph's or whatever supermarket, prices are at an influx. Gas prices are high to get to work, to the job that you're getting minimal wage for, that you should be getting more for, especially if you have, so-and-so degrees or awards or whatnot, or recognition. Prices are high, the housing mortgage is a bust. I mean,
well, to bring some more fact to this, they're saying that about 14 million people, it's believed that about 14 million people are unemployed. But it's really more 22 to 23 million people are unemployed when you think about people who are working, who are underemployed or who are in bad positions. And that 14 million, they're really only talking about people who have looked for jobs. There are people who have been so unemployed, have been so employed for so long that they've stopped looking for a job. Yeah. Which now leads me to Los Angeles, where we live. Okay, we could talk about the economy from a broad perspective, but for Los Angeles, we have everything going on. We have potholes. We have homes that are, I saw this new statement, it's called strategic foreclosure, where people who can afford to stay in their homes are deciding not to stay because they're just giving away money. Sunita, what do you think about where we live in Los Angeles and the economy?
Well, the great thing about LA is that there is a lot to take part of. Yes, maybe, this might not be a great time to buy houses. Actually, even with that, they're starting to say it is starting to be better to buy houses versus renting. So, it is a down period. I mean, the economy, LA, nationally, we are struggling, but that, as far as bottom of the barrel, it is rising up. And the fact is, one of the things I actually, before moving on to LA, that I wanted to talk about, I think the common people are maybe struggling, but there are a lot of companies out there that have record profits going on, that are doing really well. Why aren't they hiring?
So when you say the common people, you're talking about us. I just wanted to define common people.
Why not?
But the companies are doing well.
The companies are doing well, so why isn't it trickling down?
Okay, so
because they're not paying people. It's like, McDonald's is doing well, but they're not paying people.
It's not McDonald's. It's some of the top companies out there are having record profits right now, and the whole point of it was supposed to be the idea that if companies are doing well, then they're going to hire, they're going to expand, they're going to bring more products out there. Why isn't that happening? That's my question.
Well, we've talked about powerful men, the economy, and LA economy. We can keep going on and on. When we return, we're going to have a candid dialogue about women in the media. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Madison Gray with an Everyway Woman Fitness Secret. If you're looking to lose a couple of pounds but you don't want to change a lot in your diet or your exercise, drink a tall glass of water 5 to 10 minutes before each meal. It will flush out your system and it'll get you fuller faster. Stay tuned for some more sizzling Everyway Woman.
Here's Everyway Woman.
Welcome to Women in the Media. This week we're going to talk about the darker side with the ongoing trial of Casey Anthony, and also from what the media has portrayed, Rihanna's new video is being violent and graphic. So I wanted to ask you, Stacey, how do you think the press is promoting both of these different sort of negative images?
Well, with Casey Anthony, it's a mother-daughter relationship, and that in and of itself is sacred. So that's why there's a lot of hype behind that. And then as it relates to the Rihanna video, I don't know if I would characterize it as being violent. I characterize it as a real emotion that happens when a person is assaulted. So, the media likes to spin and hype things, but I think that there's two real human emotions that are being addressed there.
Right. And do you think that the press, like you said, puts spins on things with the trial? Is it helping Casey to have it on TV and for people to be talking about it, or is
Well, I think it's helping to get that out there.
Right.
Because we have to know, it's like, just because someone's a young mother and she's pretty does not mean she's not psychotic.
That's very true.
That's true.
Very true. And
But I think the hard part is just is she going to get a fair trial? I mean, you know, I think the media just loves to have one story that they can focus all of their attention on, that everyone can, you know, say, no, I have the better angle. No, I have the better angle.
Different perspectives and try to spin it a little bit to meet their own needs, which is what I was going to ask about Rihanna. Did she do that for the publicity to sell more videos, sell more records? Or was that something that she just felt was very artistic based and she didn't really care so much about the...
Well, she wrote on her tweet page and it was getting a lot of coverage and that was good for record sales for her, but also she stated that she was not trying to be a parent because parenting groups are coming forth and saying that it was inappropriate. And what she said was you need to parent your children at home.
Right.
I wasn't doing that. I was talking about video and I was doing my artistic creativity.
Right.
So that's a side that you need to look at it from as well.
Sure.
And it was good she's bringing that out there because she was at a party and she got raped. And this is what happens to a lot of young girls. It's not somebody jumping out the bushes. It's somebody that you know.
Absolutely.
Especially when you look at the video and in the middle part of the video, they appear to be dancing and being friendly. So it looks like her yes of I want to dance turned into no, I don't want to take it any further, which happens so very often.
Right. So and it's almost a similar situation with the Casey Anthony trial. We've got all these pictures of her partying, and how has that put a spin on her trial and how people perceive.
She did that to herself.
Oh, absolutely. But what I'm saying is how we as viewers with this, you know, kind of gruesome subject matter.
One thing, there's so much video of Kayla. So it makes us we're closer to this little girl because we see her. We've seen her dancing. We've seen this little girl singing. So it's like we know this little girl.
Sure.
And that's one of the things. They have just so much video and so many pictures of her.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think going to Rihanna's video too, you know, it's just a way for them to also be able to go back and talk about the Chris Brown incident. And I think part of, you know, people are having a hard time with Rihanna is here's this beautiful woman, you know, just gorgeous, gorgeous voice, great music, but she's had this very tough incident in her own personal life. And some of the things that have been coming out of it are, you know, are a little disturbing. They're hard to put together, you know. In some ways she's still, you know, talking to Chris Brown and those kinds of things, and some of the songs that she's chosen. So I think they are trying to wrap their head around, you know, I think we're all trying to wrap our head around, how is she really coping with that incident with Chris Brown? Obviously this is an outlet.
She's coping well. She's got all these albums out and she's making money.
and that kind of goes back to the original question, you know, is the publicity, is the subject matter and the, I guess, over the top part of it, publicity?
Well, yes, and I think also, you know, men who think that they can just do whatever they want with women and think that it's okay to rape somebody because they looking hoochie, they should definitely watch this video.
So and I think you're dealing with, again, two very sensitive matters. You're dealing with sexual assault and then you're with the murder of a child by their own parent.
Absolutely.
So who should be the protector? So I think that it's just going to be catapulted into a different category. Any spin that's put on it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I know in one circumstance that publicity has played a good significant part is with Katie Couric's new talk show. It seems that every time we turn around, we're hearing of a new celebrity coming up with a talk show. They're reinventing themselves.
Already a talk show here, Everyway Woman.
And that's exactly it. That's why I'm so excited because Everyway Woman is so different than what we've seen and have seen repeatedly. And so I just like each one of you maybe to talk a little bit about how you think Everyway Woman is breaking ground with our new version of Daytime Talk.
We do everything ourselves. We do the set ourselves. We do our own makeup. We dress ourselves. We do the camera. We do everything.
We do cooking. Yeah, we don't always do politics. We're going to do some sports. And
we do all of this and make it beautiful on a 99-cent store budget.
There you go.
And we can compete with all these people paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for sets. So it's much cheaper for them to put us on.
And Stacey,
I think also one of the things that makes us so extraordinary is the vision of our producers, that as we continue to move forward, we're embracing real women. Absolutely. So as you know, right now we have real women out in our green room, we have real women behind the camera. We're not just putting them as faces before, but we're really experiencing that village concept. Absolutely. And I think that's what's so extraordinary, and we're so diverse.
And we have such a good time.
We do.
I mean, with the food,
we have
cooking segments, and
the
then
traditionalists
awesome.
all the way down to the millennials and everything in
and
between.
we've
I
had some
think we're
very
just
serious
great.
political conversations, and you know, but we do the fun stuff too, and it's
And we represent everyone. You have single women, you have single mothers, you have married women, married mothers. People got old kids, people got young kids. Some people have
all
kids that
shapes
help
and
us.
sizes.
Some people whose kids help us with the show. Put
But I
together
think-
the show.
I think our real women, real issues. That's really who we are. You know, you hear that slogan all the time,
Yes,
but that's
yes,
really who
yes.
we are, and that's
And-
what makes us so great.
And our vision, I think, you know, to get out there and to talk to these real women, and not just the same old, you know.
How can I buy $500 shoes when you only make $500 a year?
Exactly. So, well, that's been great, and I'm so looking forward to working with all of you ladies. I'm so excited, and it's just such a wonderful project, and I just can't
And
wait.
sitting, you seeing you in that chair, Katie should be a little nervous.
Thank you so much. Better legs and much better hair, and that's all your own hair, too.
But you
thank
know
you
what?
guys
The thing
so
about
much.
Everyway Woman is that you celebrate all different types of women. So
Absolutely.
good for Katie for
Good for
having her
Katie.
show, and good
Applause.
for Everyway Woman.
Yes, yes, there's room for all of us.
Absolutely.
Well, yes. Well, thank you very much, and we'll be right back with more Everyway Woman right after this break.
Here's Everyway Woman.
Joining us today is Jillian Lauren. She is the author of the New York Times best-selling memoir, Some Girls, My Life in a Harem, and it's been translated into 14 languages. And today she is here with us to talk about her debut novel, which is so good, so spicy. It's called Pretty. And thank you for joining us today. You've been on The View, you've been on Howard Stern, and you've been on Good Morning America. We are so happy to have you.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Now with this book, I related, I'm an LA girl, and I related to so many of these characters. And where did you get your inspiration from for this book?
Well, I feel that LA is almost a character in the book. You know, it's so much part of it. And it really is based a lot on my experience living here. It's kind of a collage of, you know, issues that I've been batting around, and people that I've known, and places that I've loved or not loved in LA. And, you know, so it is based in my life in some ways.
Now, Jillian, your first book, which you was talking about, came out last year. Phenomenal success. Tell us a little bit about that book and what was the inspiration behind that, and how did you realize it was going to be as successful as it was?
You know, I really had no idea. I just, it was my first book, and I was so thrilled that it was a book that I could hold in my hand, you know? And that was enough success for me.
Do you think it was successful because of the content, talking about being in a harem? Do you think that's
You know,
what it was?
I think that was certainly part of it. Yes. You know, I mean, it was certainly the, you know, dishy aspect of it that sold a lot of copies. But I really also think it's word of mouth, because a lot of women are really relating to the book in a way that surprises them, and they're finding that, you know, they expected just kind of this escape, and that it actually has some emotional content.
And I like it too, because in both of your books, it makes people who are in the sex industry, workers, it makes them seem like real people. Like it brings the emotion to the table. It brings what happened to them, what's going through in their mind, not just, oh, ooh.
And that was part of my mission, was to really humanize that experience and show that there are just a lot of shades of gray. It's not just either women in the sex industry are big victims, or they're these demons. There's, you know, women do this for all different reasons, all kind of women from all backgrounds. So I wanted to show that.
Absolutely.
It was really. So what has been, as you're talking to women, what are some of the comments, or what are some of the things that women say to you regarding Some Girls? What's kind of been the biggest piece?
I get a lot of emails about the honesty being inspiring for people, and that is really meaningful to me and makes me feel good, because, you know, it took a lot to sort of stand up and tell my story and really stand behind my life and my experiences, and I think that that people have been really inspired by that.
And you were so brutally honest. You were brutally honest all the way.
Right.
And we normally don't feel that. You know, usually you read something and it's just kind of titillating and that's it. But you were honest. You were honest about everything that happened to you, about your background, because you are a suburban girl.
New Jersey girl. Yeah, and it had to be hard to talk about some of that stuff. I mean, it just really personal and
I love, Holly, when she was talking about in the book, we were talking about the hierarchy in the harem, and that it was really it was the goals of the women to sit at his, you know, almost the right side and the left side, and how you made it to the second in command. And how that afforded you a shopping spree. And even though I'm not making light of your experience, but you were really honest about the first time that you met him and what happened and that emotion.
and having to learn that song.
And having to learn that song, and how you really, you were like, you know what, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it well.
Absolutely.
With your new book, Pretty, that's coming out in August.
In August,
And you're going to be on tour.
I will. I'll be on tour in September.
Tasha came in and said, ooh, that's sizzling.
You can read this a few times. Yeah. I really like this. You know, I really like some of your quotes in here. Like this one, it's when you were talking about pretty. And this is so, I think as women we can relate to this, because you said pretty isn't what pretty does. Pretty just is. Pretty is, and pretty can get you a few things, and it doesn't last long. So whatever the hell you can do with it while you have it, go ahead and do it. And you know, that I think sums up too is sometimes why young females get involved into the sex industry, because it is something that you can do and you can use your pretty for.
Right. You know, there's an old adage that I hear young girls say, you got to use what you have to get what you want. And not saying that's right or wrong, but that you know, and I think that's what you were saying there, for whatever time it can last for you.
Right, and the character who is saying that, the main character, Bibi,
actually
is struggling with, you know, she's been partially disfigured in a car accident. So then she goes from having that attitude to, you know, struggling with, you know, who she really is and what is her real value. So, you know, we live in LA, and I feel like it's the world capital of, you know, overvaluing looks.
It is.
Exactly.
And I know, you know, for younger people, and I know I'm dying to ask you about your son. As a mom of two sons myself, I'm just like, I can't wait. Taraku is his name.
Taraku is his name.
And how old is he?
He's 3.
He's so adorable.
Yes, he is.
Oh my gosh. You just can't get enough of him. But he was adopted from?
He was adopted from Ethiopia 2.5 years ago. So he was about 11 months old when we adopted him.
Wow.
Yeah.
And from what I've seen of him, he's going to have that adventurous side in him, just like you. How do you think you're going to handle that?
I think that every day I look at him and he's so strong-willed and so adventurous and just fearless, and you know, he crashes his bike into a wall and tumbles over the handlebars, and I'm like running, oh my God, he's all big smiles, like, oh God, I'm in trouble, and he loves to crash, you know.
Well, I've had so many experiences, I'm sure that.
And you were also adopted too.
I was adopted, so you know, I feel like I really, I hope I have something to offer him in that way, you know, some kind of understanding.
You know, Jillian, I want to ask you a question, being a mother. Will you think that you'll share with him those experiences when he's old enough to understand? Do you think
experiences in the book? Well, you know, they're in a book, so he's going to hear about them one way or the other. I hope that the ick factor, like, will keep him from actually reading it, and then then I'll be able to explain it to him.
But it's part of your history, and it's part of what you represent as a woman and his mother. So I think that he's going to embrace that so wonderfully.
Yeah, that's what I hope. You know, and I'll explain it to him in a developmentally appropriate way, and you know.
And you also have a full-length solo performance coming out.
I do.
Called Mother Tongue, and it's going to be at the Steve Allen Theater in Los Angeles on July 12th and 13th.
Yes, and it's a lot about, you know, about adoption, about my son's adoption, about my own adoption, about, you know, the issues of identity that come up when you're trying to sort of integrate these various influences in who you are. So that's what it's about, and I'm really excited about it.
I know that is going to be so good. Now, was there a lot does that take a lot out of you because you're a mother and your husband's a musician, Scott Schreiner from the band Weezer, who sings my theme song, Beverly Hills. You know what? I meditate to that song because some people, they meditate, you know, thinking about mountains and streams. I meditate thinking about shopping and Barney's and me being in Beverly Hills.
Thank you. That's the new woman anthem. Exactly. So your husband, thank you.
I'm going to tell them that. They're really going to get a kick out of it. The singer's a real meditator, you know. He actually does. He meditates all the time, so he'll be thrilled.
Oh, yeah, that's the new meditation.
So how do you manage everything? You're a wife, you're a mother, you're an author, you're a performer. How do you
Just
manage
keeping an
it?
eye on him?
Yes.
You know, it's something that I'm really still trying to figure out. You know, the balance is just always a challenge. But I just think, you know, it's really important that we fight to have time for the things we care about.
That's right.
You know, and
That's great.
and I have terrible guilt. You know, that I'm like, oh, I could be spending this time with my son. What am I doing? But you know, I figure it's who I am, and if I'm not creating, if I'm not doing my work, my performance, my writing, I just don't feel happy. I don't feel like I'm myself.
You know what? I have a saying in my house: if mama's not happy, ain't nobody happy. I understand.
I think the key word is the balance, and just making it all work and keeping those important things right up front.
Thank you so much, Jillian. Thank you.
This has been an Everyway Woman production.